York, and Kelsey Plum blows the lid off the joint, letting us all in on a small secret. Team Clark, they had no idea what was awaiting them walking into that locker room come WNBA All-Star.
What should have been a powerful display of unity at the WNBA All-Star Game quickly devolved into a cringe-worthy spectacle of public disrespect, all thanks to one player's unnecessary and baffling comments that blew the lid off the simmering tensions within the league. In a moment that was supposed to showcase solidarity and strength, a shocking statement from Las Vegas Aces star Kelsey Plum exposed the deep-seated jealousy and resentment directed at the sport's biggest star, Caitlin Clark, creating a moment of supreme awkwardness that went viral for all the wrong reasons.
We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise, but the t-shirt, just united front was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present.
The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis.
Kelsey Plum was at the All-Star Game in Indianapolis. She made quite a scene, bruh. This time, at the conclusion of the game, I was one of the first people to break the story about her actually making comments about Caitlin Clark's team not being at this meeting for the CBA negotiations. Now, we know the WNBA All-Stars came out with these t-shirts, pay us what you...
The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis was meant to be Caitlin Clark's coronation, a triumphant showcase in her new home city where the crowd's energy was palpable. Instead, she was forced to watch from the sidelines, nursing a frustrating groin injury that kept her out of the main event. But the disappointment of not being able to play would soon be completely overshadowed by the drama that erupted in the aftermath. The stage for this conflict was set before the game even began, as WNBA players made a unified statement by wearing black t-shirts with the powerful message, "Pay us what you owe us." This was a clear, coordinated message to the league amidst ongoing and often tense collective bargaining agreement negotiations. It was a fight for better pay, improved travel conditions, and a more equitable share of the league's rapidly growing revenue. It was designed to be a moment of solidarity, a united front from the players demanding what they felt they had earned. However, in the post-game press conference, what was meant to be a discussion about this powerful message of unity took a sharp, bizarre, and completely unexpected turn.
McKay, Women's National Basketball Players Association president. Brianna Stewart, vice president. And Nafisa Collier. All on opposing teams from Team Clark. How does it work out that the three biggest players in the Players Association had an idea about wearing a "Pay Us What You Owe Us" t-shirt, make this decision last minute that this is what the players will do? Team Clark somehow isn't present in the meeting.
Sitting at the podium, Kelsey Plum, a key figure in the Players Union as one of its vice presidents, decided to share what she framed as a small inside secret about the t-shirt demonstration. She explained to the assembled media that the decision to wear the shirts was made in a players-only meeting that very morning, a last-minute plan to show their collective power and resolve. Then, with a slight smirk that seemed to betray a deeper motive, she leaned into the microphone and added, not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. The room went dead silent. The air was sucked out of the room as reporters and players alike processed the comment. The phrase "not to tattletale" itself sounded childish and passive-aggressive, and by deliberately singling out Team Clark, she wasn't just taking a shot at one player who wasn't even there to defend herself, but an entire group of her peers, effectively drawing a line in the sand and shattering the facade of unity they had just presented on the court.
Like a genuine surprise, but the t-shirt, just united front was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just we had a very
that really needed to be mentioned.
I'm trying to make a situation.
Right next to Plum, literally inches away, sat New York Liberty star Sabrina Ionescu, a prominent member of Team Clark and one of Caitlyn's most vocal supporters. Her reaction was immediate, visceral, and spoke volumes more than any lengthy rebuttal could have. She shot Plum a look of pure, unadulterated disbelief, her eyes widening for a split second before she performed an exaggerated, almost theatrical eye roll that was impossible to miss. She then delivered a sarcastically sharp response that cut through the thick, awkward air with surgical precision. That really needed to be mentioned. That single, perfectly timed moment, that flick of the eyes and biting, dismissive tone said everything. It was a clear, public, and powerful defense of her teammates, and a sharp rebuke of Plum's divisive and completely unnecessary comment. Ionescu's reaction instantly went viral, highlighting not only the blatant disrespect of the statement, but also her unwavering loyalty. She wasn't just defending a friend, she was defending professionalism and shutting down a petty jab that was actively undermining the very unity the players were supposedly there to promote. She became the adult in the room, calling out the childish behavior happening right beside her.
These WNBA players, they get more unlikable every day. And the blatant jealousy, the blatant hatred towards Caitlin Clark is, I mean, it's obvious. They don't even try to hide it. We got Kelsey Plum talking about these pathetic shirts that they wore out onto the court. And I'm going to tell you, these players all put these shirts on. And like I said in a couple of previous videos, that backfired.
The bitter irony of Plum's comment is amplified to an almost comical degree by the undeniable and staggering financial reality known as the Caitlin Clark effect. When Clark was officially ruled out of the All-Star game due to her injury, the market impact was immediate and catastrophic. Ticket prices for the game, held in Clark's home city of Indianapolis, completely collapsed. Prices plummeted by 48% in less than 24 hours, dropping from an average of $121 to just $64 for the cheapest seats. Some resale sites saw tickets going for as low as $60 as fans desperately tried to cut their losses, realizing the main attraction was gone. This wasn't a minor fluctuation, it was a complete market crash based on the absence of a single player. The television ratings told an even starker story. Nationally televised WNBA games without Clark in the lineup see viewership dropped by a staggering 55%. Her own team's games without her are down 53%, from an average of 1.81 million viewers to just 847,000. These are not just statistics, they are cold hard proof of Clark's monumental financial importance to a league that has historically struggled for mainstream attention and profitability. Her jersey became the top selling of any draft pick in any sport, ever. Teams were moving their home games against the Indiana Fever to larger NBA arenas just to accommodate the tens of thousands of new fans she was drawing.
Going on. Caitlin Clark, she was officially ruled out before all of these things, and look at the news that dropped. This is wild. WNBA All-Star Weekend, it's supposed to be the star of all stars. All the big dogs is out. A'ja Wilson, Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, everybody's out. The big dogs are out. You got the rookie, you got Angel Reese, Miss Me Too. All of the stars are here, and look at this news. The get-in price for the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48% from $121 to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be.
While sidelined and being targeted, Caitlin Clark didn't engage in a public war of words. She didn't need to. Instead, she waited for the perfect opportunity to deliver a subtle but absolutely devastating blow. Kelsey Plum, who is proudly sponsored by Under Armour and frequently promotes the brand, posted a series of photos from the All-Star Weekend to her Instagram. In one of the pictures, in a moment of baffling carelessness, she was seen posing directly in front of a large, prominent Nike logo. Clark, one of Nike's premier global athletes with her own signature shoe on the way, saw her opening. She slid into the comments and dropped a 6-word masterpiece of passive aggression. Thank you for the Nike ad. The brilliance of this comeback cannot be overstated. It was playful enough to maintain a veneer of innocence, but sharp enough to expose the hypocrisy of the situation. It was a checkmate move, publicly highlighting Plum's gaffe while simultaneously promoting her own multi-million-dollar sponsor. It masterfully turned Plum's own social media into free advertising for her rival's brand and proved that Clark operates on an entirely different level of media savvy. The fact that Plum never replied to the comments spoke volumes.
Would you look at that? Prices for the WNBA All-Star Game have plummeted 49% after Caitlin Clark was ruled out due to injury, per TickPick. I can't say that I'm surprised by this at all. I mean, no matter how much you love her or hate her, Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. When she goes, the ratings go. Simply put.
Last and latest being this viral Kelsey Plum dig, if you will. And I was in the room for this. It did strike me as very odd in the moment when she said what she said. I wrote it off as kind of awkward, but let me play it for you again, and then I'll respond after the fact. This is what Kelsey Plum said about the t-shirts, and you can, Sabrina Ionescu's reaction.
Plum's comments, unfortunately, weren't just an isolated gaffe. They fit into a broader, troubling pattern of what many fans and analysts perceive as widespread jealousy and disrespect towards Caitlin Clark from a vocal minority of veteran players. Since her arrival in the league, Clark has faced unusually hard fouls that have been scrutinized as crossing the line from physical play into flagrant attempts to intimidate. She has endured dismissive comments from other players in interviews, and a constant hum of online criticism from the very people who are benefiting most from her popularity. This ongoing narrative of resentment from players who are seeing their own salaries and profiles rise because of the Clark effect creates a toxic environment that threatens to undermine the league's incredible momentum. It's a baffling case of players seemingly trying to diminish the very person who is making the entire ship rise higher than it has ever been.
To me, I thought that was a little dig at Caitlin. A lot of people definitely thought so. Now, we know Caitlin Clark is a Nike athlete. She's with Nike. And guess who had to pull up to the Nike party? None other than Sabrina Ionescu. None other than Kelsey Plum. My bad, y'all. None other than Kelsey Plum, bruh. Caitlin Clark commented on her picture. Thank you for the Nike ad.
What league lost money last year? It's lost money for what? 28 years now? 27 years? 26 years? However long, it ain't never turned a profit. Again, they're about to make more money. They are. The media rights deal, which is where all the money is about to push salaries higher. All right? I think what a lot of people really are sick of is they're sick of the activism part of it, which is what the other night was. Let's go out and show solidarity in protest kind of crap. And sports fans are like, oh, I'm here for the freaking All-Star game, if you want to call.
From a purely business perspective, this internal strife is professional malpractice. For nearly 3 decades, the WNBA lost money and fought for relevance. Then Caitlin Clark arrived and everything changed. The revenue she generates from ticket sales, merchandise, and, most importantly, the massive television deals she attracts, directly funds the higher salaries all players, including Kelsey Plum, are fighting for in their CBA negotiations. The irony is staggering. It's like complaining about the golden goose while simultaneously demanding more golden eggs. The activism for more pay rings hollow when you publicly attack the person making those higher paychecks possible, alienating the millions of new fans she has brought to the sport.
So it was definitely awkward what Kelsey Plum said. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt, and that she was attempting to have some trash talk there. She had taken a shot at Team Caitlin Clark and how much better Team Collier was earlier in the game, and not associate that directly with Caitlin Clark. One, because of the delivery and the awkwardness involved there, and her saying she's trying to lighten the mood. So I think that's what that was supposed to be. But it was completely unnecessary, didn't need to be said, and certainly, putting it out there publicly doesn't.
For the people who don't believe in the CC effect, my precious CC, y'all ticket sales went from $262 to $121 to $64 to get in at the door. That is horrible. It decreased by 48%. You hear me? That is wild. So For all the ones who be hating on my precious CC, understand the Caitlin Clark effect is real. The CC effect is real. My precious CC is real. You hear me? Y'all need to put some respect on her name. That's wild, huh? We only wanted to see my precious CC, not nobody else, as the temptation.
This entire incident boils down to a tale of two very different kinds of leaders. On one hand, you have Kelsey Plum, whose comments, whether intended as a joke or not, sowed division and created unnecessary drama. It was an unforced error that served no strategic purpose, and only made her and a segment of the league look petty and unprofessional. On the other hand, you have Sabrina Ionescu, who through her quick, decisive, and loyal defense of her teammate, demonstrated what true leadership and a championship mentality look like. She understands that a rising tide lifts all boats, and that celebrating the league's biggest star is good for everyone. Her support for Clark isn't new. She's been a vocal supporter from the beginning, recognizing that having multiple stars is better for everyone than having none at all. Caitlin Clark, for her part, has shown remarkable maturity, handling the constant criticism with grace, while letting her record-breaking play do the talking. The Queen doesn't need to engage in petty drama. She has loyal supporters like Sabrina Ionescu to handle it, while she focuses on dominating basketball games and growing the sport for everyone. Whether some players want to accept it or not, the Caitlin Clark era is here to stay. The train has left the station, and smart players will find ways to benefit from it rather than fight against it. Because in the end, championship cultures are built on mutual respect and support, not jealousy and sabotage. It's time for everyone else in the league to get on board, or risk getting left behind in a sea of their own pettiness.